Shoulder rotation. In this next series, we're going to be focusing on rotating through the shoulder, whether it's in a circular motion or if it's just going into external rotation. We want to focus on the shoulder being able to rotate itself. So one thing to keep in mind is the difference between your shoulder complex and your shoulder itself. The shoulder here is called the glenohumeral joint here, where we're focusing on that in particular. The scapula is involved slightly throughout these motions, but the emphasis is going to be on the glenohumeral joint. Single arm YTW with a dowel. So I'm using the dowel here to prevent me from rotation, so I'm pushing the dowel down into the floor. I have my arm at chest height. Now my thumb is going to face upward. So this allows for me to have some external rotation with my thumb facing outward and upward. I'm going to reach back into a Y motion, bring it back down to center, palm faces up, giant T, back to center, elbow down, shoulder blade reaches back, W. So this is one full motion, so it's a Y, a T, and a W. Now I'm focusing on reaching up as far as I can, palm reaches upward, reaching back as far as I can, and elbow down, reaching as far back as I can here. Standing shoulder cars. What we want to do here is we want to have that dowel for support. My thumb is facing upward. From here, I'm going to reach it back as far as I can, twist my palm away, reach back as far as I can, bringing it down, rotating upward. So again, I reach up as far as I can, I twist and I turn, reach back, and then I want to make sure that I'm repeating, going in the opposite direction for the set amount of reps. So I'm reaching my arm back as far as I can, I rotate that palm and reach forward. Half kneeling shoulder cars. Going into my half kneeling position, I want to make sure that I'm having the dowel of the leg that's forward keeping me supported. So I'm pushing the dowel down, my feet are being active. Now that the hip is in extension, that's going to allow for that arm to rotate and move. Because if I were to try to do that motion in the hip that's flexed, I have limited range of motion, where here my hip is opened up, it's fully extended, I can get more of my shoulder movement involved in this position. So again, going through my shoulder car, I'm reaching upward, rotating outward, and then repeating going into the opposite direction. So again, I reach my arm as far back as I can, I rotate my arm and reach forward. Quadruped shoulder cars. So now I'm going to be going into a quadruped position. My toes are up, so that way I have a little more support throughout my hips and my core, pressing my hands into the floor. I'm going to raise my arm upward, I'm going to reach my arm back, rotate forward, repeat for the set amount of reps, and from there, repeat going in the opposite direction for the set amount of reps. Snow angels. Snow angels can be a little tricky to get onto the foam roller, so a trick that helps is having the foam roller in line with the hip, so that way you roll the foam roller onto your hip, you lower your arms down, having your knees bent. From this position here, your palms are going to be down by your side. You're going to slow and controlled raise upward and bring it back down. The goal here is to keep your ribs tucked down and tension at the core, so then that way you can focus on keeping your core involved as your arms go through this upward and downward motion, having your palms facing the ceiling the entire time. Floor slides. With our floor slides, what we want to do is we want to have our wrists straight and our palms facing the ceiling. From this position here, I'm going to inhale through my nose. I'm going to tuck my ribs down, and then as I slide my arms up, I'm going to breathe out. Inhale as I bring my arms down. Tuck my ribs, breathe out as I slide up. The goal here is to focus on external rotation of the shoulder, making sure that your forearm stays in contact with the ground as much as you can as you slide upward. If you start seeing your arms rotate upward on your way up, that means you got to limit your range of motion. So come back down, find your end range of motion where you can keep the backside of your arms down to the floor as best as you can. And if you're still having some issues there, just practice just the motion of outwardly turning.